The Salute Military Golf Association, SMGA, is based around providing rehabilitative programs for post-9/11 war veterans who are injured or wounded or experience post-traumatic stress disorder. This program is a way for us volunteers to give back to those who offer everything they have for our country, and a way for them to gain confidence and support from the community around them here in Maryland through golf. But why golf? The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines golf as a game played on a large open-air course in which a small hard ball is struck with a club into a series of small holes in the ground. But over the course of volunteering here and trying out a few swings myself, I realized that it's much more than that.
What motivated you to join SMGA?
Oh, that was easy. Back in 2014, late 2014, I was pursuing my PGA career and I was told to meet with Jim Estes, the founder of SMGA. And Jim, also a PGA professional, asked me if I would help him with one of the clinics that they were conducting, one of the 8-week clinics they were conducting. So I went out to help him and we worked with the veterans. I had the opportunity to work with them for several weeks, and seeing the smiles on their faces, the laughter that came out of their groups, it was easy to get caught up in the atmosphere around them. So joining them a couple of years later when they offered me the position to work for SMGA, was actually quite easy and motivation enough.
So tell us about some of the special people you've met in SMGA.
SMGA is about golf. Yes, we try to teach golf. We try to help the veterans use golf as a motivational tool to help them get out of the mundane day-to-day. However, it's also about the support around them, whether it be family members, whether it be their caregivers, or even volunteers that are helping them. And I've found some of the special people to be a spouse, for instance, that I met who worked endlessly to get her husband to various events where she thought he might thrive or at least feel more comfortable being around other veterans that were injured like him. And when she would get him there, he didn't talk much, but she could see that he was happier in that environment. And just watching him, I think was definitely special. I remember meeting a veteran in Pennsylvania who made keychains. In fact, I have one in my pocket that he gave to me, and he made it from little bootlaces and military grade bootlaces, I think. And he was so proud to hand these out, and I thought, yes, he's here for a golf event, but he seemed happier when he was handing these out to people that gave him a smile or chatted with him for a minute. And anytime someone puts effort into making something, put time into making something, and then they give it away, then you're giving away a little bit of yourself, and I thought that was special too. So, and most of the veterans are special in their own right, but those are just a couple of the ones that I can think of.
What was your branch of service?
I was Army for 22 years. I retired.
All right. Have you golfed before?
I've golfed off and on over the past few years just as a recreational player, but never had any formal instruction.
All right. And how do you feel these golf clinics help you?
These golf clinics have been great. I think coming out here, the pros are very good at explaining the fundamentals and correcting the little mistakes that I was making in the past. So I've really enjoyed the clinics out here with the SMGA.
Great. What was your branch of service?
My branch of service was the Army.
All right. Have you golfed before?
I used to golf a lot when I was little. My father actually taught me how to golf. And then I played when I was in Germany for a while. And then I went, and also Korea. I was very lucky. Fort Lewis. And when I got sick, I stopped playing golf.
How do you feel these golf clinics help you?
Well, first got me back onto the links. Before that, I hadn't played golf for almost 5 years before I came back to golf, and these clinics have helped me give the confidence to at least try to play golf. Not anywhere close to what the game I used to have, but these clinics have been so helpful with that. Also helped me with socialization. And and that's good for me.
Listen, what was that?
What was your experience in Germany and Korea? You mentioned that.
Oh, golfing or just being there?
Or just like being there?
When I was in Germany, I was there just after the Gulf War. So there's a lot of excitement going around, and plus the wall had just come down. So it was a lot of introduction to new people. I mean, not only the German people, but also the people from other countries that are coming over because the borders were opening. I loved it. The courses were tough. The food was great. It is a beautiful country. The whole European area is very, very nice. It was a nice experience. Oh, Korea was fun. That was a lot of fun. A little different. I'm not Korean, Japanese, so it was a very good experience. I went there twice. It's supposed to be 1 year tour each time. First time was 2.5 years because I went just before September 11th. And then the second time I went and stayed there for 3.5 years.
And how do you think golf has changed or impacted your life?
It gives me more discipline. I have to plan things out better, or I can plan things out better. I'm more analytical than I used to be, which is not a bad thing. Not as impulsive, so golf has helped me quite a bit.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, not really, except I am third generation U.S. Army. That's about it. My grandfather was in World War I. My dad's a World War II vet.
Wow, very interesting.
So did that impact your decision to also join the Army?
I was deciding that, and then my father died, so I didn't realize. He used to tell us he was a truck driver. He wasn't a truck driver. Found out later, but yeah, it didn't really impact it that much. My dad didn't want me to join, so yeah, so I wanted to get his wishes, but it did help me be in the military.
The first thing I've realized about golf and about SMGA is that I look around and most people my age, we see golf as a boring, low skill needed, more elderly suitable sport. And golf can be really frustrating, such as the moment when you just can't seem to get it out of the bunker over and over, and you're wondering how Tiger Woods makes it look so easy. I mean, life just doesn't seem fair. But that's what makes it all the more self-rewarding. Eventually, with golf instruction and a community of support, you improve, and that feeling when you finally shoot under 90 or 80 for the first time, all of a sudden, all that practice and all that pain and stress, it's worth something.
See, if you get that quick hit on it, and all you're trying to do is just let this thing get in the way of this. All I want to do is let this get in the way of this. I can roll that ball much easier at that hole. So the ball turns. Get the pop. Pop is over there. So stop. See, this is at the same speed. This is like a ball swing.
What helped make you decide to join SMGA as a volunteer?
I have volunteered now for over the past 5 years with SMGA. I was invited initially by my good friend, DeWitt Osborne, and I've gotten to know Jim Estes quite well. And recently, Jim Estes invited me out to volunteer. And he understands my game, he knows my game, so he has asked me to come and demonstrate a few shots with the pros. So I've enjoyed it. I've been enjoying it so far this season, as I've before as well.
And how do you think that this has helped out veterans?
I think it's a great therapeutic process for the veterans that I've seen. They've definitely taken to the game, and they're emphasizing, they're utilizing the skills that they've been taught. For example, I just met Al-Haji for the first time. He was here, he's been coming this season, this spring, and I've seen his game improved considerably, and he has just picked up the game. and he's smiling, he's enjoying the game. And the golfers who have been participating in the program, they seem to be enjoying the game, and they're looking forward to going out on the golf course. So yeah, I think it has helped them tremendously.
Great. Anything else you want to add?
I think it has helped me as well, just to be able to volunteer, to be able to work with the veterans and to interact with them has been a tremendous help and a blessing to me to be able to just to be around these wonderful men and women who will serve their country very well.
Doctors or the naked eye, the jump master looking out the aircraft door, checking with his ground team, checking wind direction, airspeed, and so forth, verifying that the drop zone is clear and ready. Are you clear and ready? Yeah! They will not jump until they hear you. He's now getting his final hand on as the pilot, guiding the aircraft to the point where the jumpers will exit. From there, they'll perform a free fall jump from 8,000 feet. 8,000 feet. Please look skyward in about the next 30 seconds or so. Maybe we didn't yell loud enough. Come on! Ah! Louder, louder, louder! All right, the jumpers are out in the smoke. Give me a hand. SMGA members and would better participants, please come forward. Let's give these members a great round of applause. All right, please stand and render proper courtesies to the national anthem. Post the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land
beautiful rendition. We're here today to support and celebrate the service, sacrifice, the fortitude and commitment of these warriors. One please, round of applause as they recover back to their stations. So in that spirit, we're here to have some fun today. We'll hand it over to the head professional here at Manor, and then he'll get us out on the course, and we'll see you in about 8 or 9 hours in there for happy hour.
The second thing I realized was that even though golf may seem like a very individualistic sport that does not involve really anything else besides you and maybe the wind, this is a huge misconception. During every single shot, there are people encouraging you, congratulating you, and maybe even sharing a beer, but not in front of the minors, of course. And I can see how this can be a huge help to the veterans. I mean, it helps them gain confidence in themselves because there's just so much motivation and encouragement going around.
So what are you most proud or happy of while you've been at SMGA?
Just being a part of this organization and what we do. The organization, as I said earlier, helps veterans to cope with their injuries. And I think having, whether it be donors or volunteers or people that want to get involved in an organization, having them say just a simple thing that I don't hear very often, but when I do hear it, I always remember it, and that is, we are so happy with what you do. And that sometimes comes from veterans as well as volunteers, or as I mentioned, donors or potential donors. So yes, that makes me proud and makes me happy every time I hear that.
How did being in the military affect your life today?
I've always been a believer that where you are today is where you're supposed to be. And being in the military, being around the military for 24 years shaped my life in ways that I can't imagine being any different. Yeah, I met my wife almost 43 years ago. In the next couple of weeks, it'll be 43 years. And then I have my son, my family, places that I lived. I learned to travel. I learned to appreciate travel. I learned to appreciate various locations that I've lived. And I think that commonality with veterans, and I know that you had asked me how that relates to working with the veterans. That is, in and of itself, is just something that military is about. The veterans all about is family and being able to relate to each other. People who move every couple of years, live in various location conditions, and I think when they find out that I'm a veteran, when they find out that I too had some of the same background, then I think it makes them a little bit more at ease. Maybe not completely comfortable, but I think it makes them more at ease to talk to me when they might not be willing to talk to just anyone, at least initially.
Why do you think younger volunteers are important to the program?
Oh, well, like you guys and what you've seen being around these veterans, while we don't think about it, some of them are actually, in fact, they are young. And while they chose a different path or a different career going into the military, serving this country, I think having younger volunteers that are curious about their path or what they chose to do, I think having younger volunteers around that want to share what they learned by watching, being around these veterans, and just helping other young colleagues, students, or whatever the case may be, to understand that there is a different side to what we take for granted on a day-to-day basis, and there is a sacrifice that some people have made that most people aren't aware of, and having the younger people understand that, I think, is very important, and the awareness is very important. So for that and what you guys are doing, what you've committed to doing, I certainly appreciate and thank you for that too.
The last thing I've realized is that there's so much versatility in golf that I don't think I've seen in any other sport. Not just the fact that there are an infinite amount of different courses to play or an endless variety of different clubs to buy, but it's the people. You can play with anyone, no matter how old or how experienced. You can have the best time whether you play with a complete stranger or your best friend from elementary school. And so in the end, I think that's what makes SMGA such a special experience. Having golf bring people together is really something unique. So when their mission statement states, empowering wounded veterans one fairway at a time, I personally think that that's a pretty fair way to put it.